We still do 7 NUFC Matters show a week for free. But if you want to help support NUFC Matters, then there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast and video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications bell so you don't miss a single show. If you want to help us financially, then you can join the channel using this button with the membership starting at $1.99 a month. Or you can drop us a donation in the chat using a super sticker. We're also looking for sponsors. If you'd like your brand advertised on the flyers for the show and featured during the ad break, then email John at nufcmatters.com to arrange today.
Talking to myself again, but it's the only way you're ever gonna learn. You look back and it's all in the past. I'm dwelling on the thoughts I cannot say to you.
Good evening, welcome to NUFC Matters with me, Steve Wraith. Fans Forum, beginning of another week. Welcome to George, to Ian, to Barry, to Darren, to Chippers, to Spencer, to Alan, and to Kevin. And welcome to you as we look ahead to tomorrow night's Carabao Cup game and look back on a comprehensive win, George, against Fulham at the weekend. Fulham down to 10 men after 22 minutes. Lewis Miley grabbing the first goal in the second half, and Miggy Almiron and Dan Burn making it a 3-0 win. Clean sheet for Dubravka as well. And a new song from the Gallagher faithful, George, as well, about Jason Tyndall. Made it a very happy day on Tyneside. So, George, first impressions of the game. Happy with that result. Good to get back on the winning ways.
Well, yeah, great. I mean, to coin a phrase, it was a game of two halves, because the first half wasn't particularly spectacular. Because they were struggling even with the 10 men, well, even more with the 10 men, to break Fulham down. But whatever he did to them at half-time, give them a couple of Weetabix or something, I don't know, but different team came out at half-time. I mean, the first half, they didn't play badly, but they were struggling to make the breakthrough. Across the field, so many great things. And you lads will be sick of hearing me saying I want a Geordie hero. Well, I think I got a Geordie hero on Saturday. Young Miley was outstanding, absolutely outstanding, and playing football way, way beyond his 17 years of age. Some of his insight into picking up stuff from Bruno was just magical, as was his goal. I mean, Bruno gets the plaudits for all how he hung onto the ball in the dribble and his final ball. But Lewis Miley did. Steve Hasty sits next to me, and when we get to those positions, he must get sick of hearing me saying, "Put your foot through the bloody ball." Well, Lewis Miley put his foot through the bloody ball, and he got a great goal because of it. And after that, well, you can go through the team from Livramento it's just another class. You know, Tino. Not shaken by having to move across to the other side. Irony was, with Byrne coming in back from an injury, I thought he would be the one that would struggle to get the half-time. I didn't expect Shaw to be the one to go off. And then a few minutes later, Joe Linton, which it's a bit worrying. I think Joe Linton's less worrying than Shaw's, because I think Joe Linton's was a knock, but Shaw's looked very much like a very bad hamstring pull, which is quite disappointing. But who knows? The medics will work on it. He might. He stopped at the right time anyway. He didn't take it any further. Across the field, well, Bruno is class. The only word you can use for him. Absolutely. I've never seen a player, any team of Newcastle United, who can make space for himself like Bruno does. There can be 4 or 5 people around him, and they give him what some people regard as a suicide ball, couple of flicks of the hips, and he's clear. And half the defenders are sitting on the backside. Absolutely magic. The other thing for kids to watch, when he plays the ball to somebody, he doesn't do what a lot of them do, is he plays the ball and they either stop or they run the other way. He goes towards the man who's given the ball to, so he can play. He's always trying to be positive. So, yeah, Bruno, absolutely outstanding, but so many of them were. Dan Burn, you can't other than praise him. Lascelles, again, did nothing wrong. Yes, Fulham had 10 men, and seeing what the manager had to say about that, well, sorry, buddy lad, when you look at it in slow motion, he was looking at it was only a red card. If there'd been a pink or a blue card, he'd have got that as well. But it was really bad. No, great joy for me to be back at St James's Park in my seat with Steve and really enjoying the time with the lads. And can I also, before I go any further, or otherwise I'll forget, before the match, I spent my customary hour or so on the food bank with Steve. And I want to thank all the supporters out there, if they're watching tonight, for coming and saying hello and how much they enjoyed what we do. On Saturday, lads, I spoke to a gentleman from Saudi Arabia, one from Australia, one from Canada, one from New Zealand, one from the USA, who all came to the food bank specifically to say to Steve Hasty and I, we love your shows. So that goes to you as well, lads. They love our shows. I just find that absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. I mean, there's lots of TV stuff that wouldn't get those sort of applauded. So thank you to everybody out there. It does make a difference, I promise you. And the sort of year I've had, it lifted my spirits really great deal. So thank you. Great match. And end of the rant.
Yeah, well said, George. Ian, good to see you, mate. What a game. I mean, after everyone had been, having a major fallout on social media again, saying that, we're going through a bad run. We had all this, the How Out Brigade just winding people up, and it was just crazy, wasn't it? Absolutely crazy. But what a performance that was. If there's ever a way to shut critics up, it's by doing that. And 7 home wins out of 7. Crisis, what crisis, Ian?
Well, for a start off, the How Out Brigade, I don't think any of them are really Newcastle fans, let's be honest. Anybody who's ever watched football, whether they're Newcastle fans or not, must understand, even the haters, even the biggest haters know now and are saying, what Eddie Howe's doing with the, 12 or 13 fit players out of a full squad over the last 2 months has been pretty much amazing. And I want to back up everything that George has said. Obviously, I ain't going after George, but it's pretty good today because he missed a few players out that I wanted to talk about for once. Craftu,
Yeah.
I'm not being funny, he's played 3 games, maybe in a substitute appearance, if I remember rightly. Since he's come back from injury, he was excellent. Defensively, his crossing, taking players away. He was excellent. First half, it was like George said, it was a struggle. It was a game of 2 halves, but I think what we had to do in the first half was not bottle it. What we needed was that goal. And Bruno, my thoughts. I'm not going to swear because my thoughts on people swearing on these podcasts it's out of order. But you can imagine, he's effing magic, and he that little touch with his toe to take the ball past the second man, and all right, we got a little deflection, which for once went in our way, and then Miley, he didn't even. There was never a second where I thought Miley was going to miss that. He just smashed it, that was like one of the. I thought that was one of the. I know it's going to sound a strange word, but one of the nicest things I've ever seen in a Newcastle United game. The way that all the lads got around him. I thought Bruno's a bit emotional, isn't he? I thought Bruno was bloody crying, wasn't he? It was like, he was hanging on to him, going, like, and Bruno made that goal. He made it, but someone had to put it in the net. And let's be honest, if it had fallen to another person, and I'm not going to say names, but they might have missed it. That kid the blood that runs through his veins of a 17-year-old is as cold as ice. He doesn't give a monkeys. Like, he's there and he knows he's got a chance now. He can do anything. And I thought Dan Burn, I'm going to go back to BDB. Dan Burn, probably the best decision that I've seen Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall make, because he spoke about it for a long time, by the way. Put BDB in as centre back, and he looked quality again. I just thought it was an excellent game, and it's what we needed. And we've had an hard time of it, and we're still there within touching distance. Yes, we're out of Europe. We were flipping unlucky. We got a lot of stick, and the lads could have bottled it that day. And I just thought it was excellent, and one of the best wins that I've seen this season for all those reasons.
Barry, great result, mate. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, spot on. Right away, like the guys have said, right away across the park. I mean, Miley played out of his skin. So composed for such a young kid. I mean, it was almost, I agree with Ian, it was almost a desperation from Bruno to get the ball to him. I get the feeling Bruno knew the awareness of where Miley was, and he sort of stumbled past one player, stumbled past another. And though any other greedy sod would have tried to shoot from there themselves, but Bruno looked as though he deliberately got it to Miley. He knew he was in a better position. And the way that kid's confidence must go because of that. I mean, that scoring a 17-year-old in front of the Gallagher, it's just, and he's playing out his skin. He looks a first team regular, no matter who we play against, no matter how good the opposition is. You just wouldn't have predicted at the start of the season. You would have thought that maybe Anderson would have been doing that over and over again. I didn't expect Marty to be at that stage, and the kid looks absolute class. I think somebody said it in the chat there. He's probably going to save us a fortune in when it comes to looking to strengthen the midfield, because we don't need it. We've got 2 or 3 young kids coming through who are real absolute stars. I thought we played over the moon that Big Dan Burns back, because, as you know, he's one of my favourite players, and I just think he just slotted into the team as if he's never been away, and just so happy for him to get the goal. When he got the first header and it came back off the keeper, I was like, no, come on, he needs a goal. And then just to literally force it over the line, I thought he's got to take the keeper with him here. He's got to take both the ball and the keeper, but he didn't. And just a great performance, Dave. I think we needed it. I think, like the guys have said, before they went down to 10 men, it was a pretty even first half. We struggled for a while first half, but then Eddie got them going. And I think, to be honest, we probably would have done that whether it was a full Fulham team or not. I don't think we would have had that many problems, because going forward, there's not many teams can cope with us. I thought Gordon had a good game as well. Obviously, I was concerned about the Joe Linton injury as well as the Shah one. The only good thing with Shah is that obviously Botman's getting back on the bench and Burns not far away by the looks of it either, so it's not as much a worry. But obviously, I would hate to think we're missing Big Joe for any period of time, but it doesn't. I'm hoping, listening to Eddie Howe's press conference, it isn't as bad as it might have been. But you just roll on the next one. Like Eddie says, it's on to the next game, and hopefully we'll get a result against Chelsea and just keep marching on.
Darren, your view on the win against Fulham, mate?
I'm good. I thought the first shot was absolutely dreadful. We won, but we played okay. I would say we played great. The second half, Amaron had a bad game, man. Yes, he scored. I think he had a bad game still.
Pretty way down.
The main thing we got the win, but I wouldn't say we played great in the second half. A few players like Lewis Mary stood out, Bruno stood out, but Wilson looked non-existent best part of the game. But Lascelles done all right.
Wow.
Tino's really good. I thought he was probably contender of man of the match with Lewis, Melly and Bruno. So that's the three best players on the pitch. My eyes, because the first half, you see how it rolled up. Well, we were bored. I went down early to get a pint. And the second half, you see, I know we got the goal pretty early on. Melly got the goal, but I think that's the main thing. But I wouldn't say it was a great game. I think Fulham gave up. Then once that second goal went in, they were still trying to waste time badly. So that's the most important thing. 3 points on the board, back to win away. Roll on Chelsea, see what happens then.
Okay, hey, that's what it's all about. Opinions. Kevin, do you agree with Darren? I mean, it wasn't 8-0 against Sheffield United. It wasn't 3-0 against Manchester United. It was a win, and it was an important one after having 3 defeats in a row.
Yeah, I agree. Yes and no. I mean, it wasn't swashbuckling football like we, want to see, but at the same time, I've jotted some stuff down. We controlled it from pretty much the minute one. Found it difficult to get, I don't know, obviously the goal, but at the same time, it's the final third element. But what the biggest word for me was a response from a disappointing 3-4 games prior to that. So that's just, again, my opinion of that. I thought we controlled it right from the start. It was just they played and went into a 4-4-1 with the Warby up front, who's not going to really affect anything. Really, he's just going to run around, makes our 2 centre halves look fantastic, even though big Dan Burn, yeah. But I mean, I could play up against the Warby, and when he's by himself, I think anybody could. But just going on to what George was saying about, which is a brilliant point about how Bruno receives the ball in a very congested midfield. That's all down to it's a game called futsal where it's heavier ball, smaller field, 4v4 plus a keeper. And it's very, very technical based. It's all very tight, and you have to receive the ball. You have to move on and receive the ball under pressure. So that comes from the Brazilian way of playing and playing under pressure, controlling a small 10 by 10, whatever you want to call it, area within the field. So yeah, I thought just to jump on what George was saying with that, and I think that's a brilliant point where you can receive the ball with 4 or 5 around him. If you notice, he'll always control the ball with the bottom of his feet, bottom of his studs, not the inside or the outside, so he can kill the ball dead. Then he can go from wherever he wants from that point. Again, that's from his younger days, from futsal or playing on a beach or a rocky road somewhere. So you've got to understand, how to play the game of football.
He always shows for it as well, doesn't he?
See what?
He always shows for it.
Well, yeah, but getting into complex terms, that's called double movements. There's a ratio. Liverpool done a study. You have to move 7 times to receive the ball once. So yeah, if you don't move, you're standing still. You're killing grass, and you're not moving, and you're not get it. So that's basically from Bruno's point of view what he does very, very well. The thing is, lastly, pretty much it's the final third element, and that's the more worrying thing of the chances that we did create in the first half. Yes, we had the free kick from Shaw, who put it wide. Then you had the Bruno chance, who put it over. Then you got the Gordon chance, who put it over. And it was just difficult for us to break down. But again, it's the quality and the mindset of, I like the mentality of it, don't get me wrong, but it's the execution of it, putting the ball in the back of the net in the final third. But again, and lastly, just for because I'm a big Miley fan, not a personal relationship with her, but people I know that do, in terms within the family themselves. He's got one of the best football IQs I've ever seen, and he could be in the echelons of the Peter Beardsleys, the Gazas of the world very soon. The composure to receive, I think Bruno's helping with that, and the composure to see a pass, not just again, quoting George, like what Steve Hasty said, just put your foot through it in the middle, or whatever. It's not that mentality. It's give me the ball. I want to receive it. I want to keep the ball for the team. And the goal, I mean, that, like Ian said, that as soon as he got it, when he was through, somehow the ball got through every Fulham defender's legs or whatever it was. And then he put it into and he just pretty much caressed it into the bottom corner, and it was a fabulous finish for the lad. And I was genuinely made up for the lad, to be fair, because I know he's got 2 younger brothers in the academy, so he's like the linchpin of the whole academy at this point. Of this is what, again, like a Longstaff, like a Anderson and others who can look. This is what you can do if you really settle down and work hard and just not listen to noise and be a top pro. And I think he will be a top pro. It's just going to give him time and let him see how he develops. I just can't wait again to see, like we said with Gordon, like we see with Anderson, what a full pre-season is going to look like with him. Because he's had one, but he hasn't had a real full one, like in the gym work, the fitness work. I just can't wait to see what he looks like next year.
Yep, yeah. Alan, evening, mate. How's your views on this match at the weekend? I mean, lots of I mean, it was a good win, wasn't it? After those 3 defeats.
Yes, it was a great win. Great analysis by Kevin. Got to agree with Darren a large part. I'm just looking from a fan's point of view. I'm frustrated with Miggy, I must admit. Quickness on the ball to get the crosses in. It was really frustrating. And like you say, breaking down 10 men, you must be quicker. So in the first half, it was very, so. We had chances, like Kevin said. The plaudits will go to Bruno, obviously. Love the guy. I think he's fantastic. Miley, to the lads in the chat and people in the chat, is Miley a first-team starter now? Or do we play it like Phil Foden, like Man City did with Pep? Do we gradually drop him out a few games, bring him back in for the next couple of years? Or do we play him week in, week out? That's a decision Eddie Howe's got to make shortly, the way he's playing. Great 3 points. Special mention to a superhero Kraft. I thought he was fantastic for coming back after a serious injury. I think it was a great showing. But now the challenge now is lads playing away from home tomorrow. Luton. That's the challenge now. We've got to get where to make it a good season or a great season. We've got to get where we're form right. But a great 3 points. I won't wrap it on too much, lads. But good performances all around. And so roll on tomorrow night, and that's where I'm looking forward. Tomorrow night and Saturday, and winning away from home. That's what we've got to do.
Positive stuff there from Alan. He often gets criticised. People say he's not positive. He's always, for me, a realist and he sticks by his guns. Spenny, how are you, mate?
I'm strong, thanks.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Give us your view on what you saw on Saturday.
It was an average performance, Dave, to be honest.
Yeah.
First half especially. For me, I'm very frustrated why we're not hitting the shots on goal more than rather than not hitting the, like over the bar and such. It is frustrating, but you can't complain. 3 points is 3 points. We won 3-0. It's the result that matters, not the shots off goal. For me, Kraft was absolutely awesome when he come on. Same as last season when he got substituted before and came in for Trippier when he was injured. Absolutely doesn't let the club down. Great professional. Bruno was absolutely outstanding. I agree with the lads. Absolutely unbelievable. The passes and the assists was unbelievable. And Miley, what a player. 17-year-old. He plays like a 24-year-old. He's got a brain like a 24-year-old. And honest, I tell you what, he's like years before any player I've seen for 17-year-old who plays for Newcastle. That's including Steve Watson, who was like one of the youngest ever to play for Newcastle. He's going to be a hell of a player for me. He's playing brilliant because I think I mentioned last week how he's playing with Bruno and Bruno was pushing him on. And what a player! And tomorrow night we could have 2 Geordies in the centre midfield, him and Longstaff and Bruno. Yeah. Exciting times.
Yeah, exciting times, and we've got a poet in our forum tonight as well. I didn't realise. Such a talented guy. He's actually written a poem for you, Spenny. Spenny's effing magic. He wears a magic wig. If you see him in Powerhouse, he gives great Irish jig. Thank you for that, Ian. Wonderful. Good to know when you're not on the camera that you spend your time writing poetry, mate. We'll have to team up and do something together.
I'll just have to put it on my fan mail, Steve.
Chippers, bless your son. You've come on and you look like death warmed up. You look like you're ready to do it. An advert for tunes. Get a first class ticket in Nottingham. But yeah. Yeah, you've got to be of a certain vintage to remember that advert. Chippers, give us your views on the match at the weekend.
Yeah, it was one of them games for me that after 3 defeats in a row, we just had to win. It doesn't matter for me about the performance. It was just about getting back on track, forgetting the last 3 games and moving forward. We could quite easily have felt sorry for ourselves for going out with the Champions League, but we didn't. It doesn't help when, Raul Jimenez thinks he's Jackie Chan for a second and tries to take somebody out, but it's a red card. I don't care what anybody else says. And then when there's 2 players that go off injured, it always disrupts the momentum because Eddie Howe had to tactically change the back 4 together, didn't he? So, but second half, I think at half time, Eddie Howe must have just said use the extra man, and that's what we've done. Make the pitch bigger, make it difficult for him to do anything, and that's what happened. Bruno just ran the game. He's been running the games quite a lot recently, and it's no wonder. I mean, the quality is there. And I mean, to be fair, when you've got players like Lewis Miley coming on now at 17 who can come on, do a job, get a goal, it's even with an injury or 2, it's not too bad. So, but yeah, I mean, it was one without Trippier playing as well. But I don't know when the last time that was, So, but all in all, it wasn't a great performance, but it was a comfortable performance. I thought it was. As soon as the first goal went in, that was it. Really, the game was over as a contest. They showed nothing to get anything out of the game, did they? So, but again, it's just it's one of those games though. Again, that maybe a couple of years ago we wouldn't have won. We may have struggled to get a draw and things like that. So, yeah. I was good for Wilson, because he put a shift in there when he hits the post, and you just think, he needs that goal to just get him back on the track. But again, win's a win. If you don't play well, win games, that's a good thing. But keep it with the rest of the 6 teams above us. So that's another thing that's positive. We're still in it, and there's still a long way to go, and we've still got players to come back from injury. So all in all, it was a positive weekend.
Kipper, you need some Lucozade and some comics, mate. That's what you need. And a lie on the settee with your blankets. There, he's got the Lucozade. Quality. All right, we're halfway through the time for
Get
the
the
ads.
porn on.
Oh, dear.
Keep going, Kibbers.
A big thanks to all our sponsors. Skips and Bins. Telephone 0800 25 45 25 3. Email inquiries at skipsandbins.com. Website skipsandbins.com. Easy contract free and pay-as-you-go waste collection. Thanks again to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. If you'd like to order some, then give them a call on 01768 210 102. Go to the website, mrvickies.co.uk, or drop them an email, info@mrvickies.co.uk. A big thanks to United Group Travel. They're a family firm based in Morpeth with pickups throughout the Northeast. No strangers on our tours, just people you haven't met yet. They've got a presence on Facebook and a website, unitedgrouptravel.com. If you want to make a booking, give them a call on 01670 632 460 or mobiles 0791 666 4174 0795 71 41654. Thanks to Darren Baldwin Funerals, independent funeral directors. Let us look after you in your time of need. They're based on Old Durham Road in Gateshead, and you can contact them at their website, darrenbaldwinfunerals.co.uk. Email darren@darrenbaldwinfunerals.co.uk, or give them a call, 0191 478 2730. A big thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the technical side of things. And a big thanks to New Workwear. You can find them at newworkwear.com. If you want to help the channel, hit the thumb up to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and share to your other social media. You can also pay a one-off fee of £25 to get a scarf, a cup, a pen, and a membership card. Go to the website, nufcmatters.com, and click membership, or put your smartphone over this QR code. We also support the food bank on this channel. If you want to make some donations virtually, go to nufcfansfoodbank.co.uk and make a donation today. We're also a podcast. on Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast providers. Just search NUFC Matters. I'm also part of the Northeast Footy Brekkie Show. You can listen to that Monday to Friday, 7 till 9 at thetooneuk.com. We've also got an event coming up next year. It's in January the 19th at the Tyneside Irish Centre. It's an evening with Nobby Solano. Tickets are available on Voucher for £20. Don't forget, Supermac and Gibbo do every pre-match at Louis Liquor Store. It's free entry, children welcome, and there is great food by Fed's Fried Chicken. They're usually on pre-match and sometimes post-match at Louis Liquor Store. Yeah, Paul Charlton said nobody mentioned Dubravka's clean sheet. I mentioned it at the top of the programme, Paul, and I'll mention it again. Again, Miggy Almiron and Dubravka seem to be getting a little bit of criticism from certain quarters. He definitely needed that goal, Miggy, but Dubravka needed the clean sheet. And interesting to see an interview with Martin Hardy, which he's just put out there, where Dubravka talks about winning his cup final for Manchester United and saying it's weird to have it on a day where he wanted Newcastle to win. So a bit of positivity coming from Dubravka in the press. And I think we all need to put that behind him, put it behind him and give him as much support as we can, from my perspective. But you're right to point that out, Paul, 100%. Bruno seemed quite emotional when Miley scored. Seems like Miley's big brother, says Chairs. I would agree with that. And Donald says, Chippers, a hot toddy will sort you out. So get yourself some whiskey down you. I think that's what he's trying to say. And Les, good evening, says Dub seemed a lot more confident versus Fulham. And Cavonia is the business. Get well soon, Chippers, says Mozza. So there we go. Lots of sympathy, lots of advice for you. Craig Lee, good evening, says Chelsea were garbage at the weekend, but won 80% possession in the first half with expected goals of 0.1. How is that possible? They had the ball 39 out of the 45 minutes and made 10% of a chance. How is that possible? Let's hope they're the same tomorrow night. And P. Davidson says, a lot of noise about bringing in 6 to release Bruno up the field. Why on earth would we try and fix something that isn't broken? Bloke makes everything tick. Leave him where he is. Keep your points coming in. We're now going to look ahead to the game tomorrow night. George, will go first with you. Newcastle take on Chelsea in the Carabao Cup quarter-final. It's at Stamford Bridge. And it's an 8 o'clock kickoff. It's live on Sky Sports. And as usual, all 4,300 away section tickets have been sold. If the scores are level at 90 minutes, the tie will be settled with a penalty shootout. There is no provision for extra time at this stage of the competition. This will be the 11th time that Newcastle have made it to the last 8 of the League Cup. They've triumphed just twice, both on home territory. After the games have been played, other fixtures are Everton, Fulham, Port Vale, Middlesbrough, and Liverpool, West Ham on Wednesday. The semi-final draw will be staged after Sky's coverage of the Liverpool versus West Ham game. Eddie Howe's press conference today, what did we learn? Well, he confirmed that there would be late decisions on whether they would involve Alexander Isak and Sven Botman. The length of Joe Linton and Fabian Schär's absences would be confirmed today by scans, with optimism that both have escaped serious injury. Elliot Anderson, Harvey Barnes, Javier Manquillo, Jacob Murphy, Nick Pope, Matt Targett and Joe Willock are all still out, and Tonali, of course, is suspended. His update on Harvey Barnes was nothing's changed, and we're still expecting it to be 4 or 5 weeks with the new diagnosis. And Matt Targett, it's routine. He had his surgery and he just he continues to follow the recovery plan. Those were the only 2 people he mentioned in the press conference today. Lewis Hall is eligible to play against Chelsea tomorrow night, but only if Chelsea give their consent, something that several journalists report has happened. So interesting to see that Hall may be given an opportunity to play tomorrow night. Of course, Newcastle got to this game by beating Manchester City 1-0 at home and beating Manchester United 3-0 away. As for Chelsea, well, Pochettino must do without Fofana, Cucurella, James, Chilwell, Sanchez, Lavia, Ugachukwu, and Chukwuemeka, and Chalobah, and Madeki. They're all out. Chelsea entered the competition in the second round They beat Wimbledon 2-1, and they had home wins over Brighton 1-0 and Blackburn 2-0. Referees Jared Gillette. This is his first game involving Newcastle this season. His most recent game involving us was a 1-1 draw at Stamford Bridge in May. And VAR is not applicable in this game. So, George, big game. Looking forward to this, mate. I made no bones about it the last few weeks. This has been my main focus. I've wanted Newcastle to progress in this cup, get back to Wembley, and put right the wrong of losing that final last year. What's your views on the game, George? How do you see this one going?
Well, in your preamble, you mentioned the important things. We've beat the two big ones. Let's go and beat the next one in the big six, if you like. We got rid of the two Manchesters. And I've got to say, when I saw the team for Manchester United with Dummett and Kraft at centre-back, I thought, well, he's giving this away. How wrong was that? And if they can turn in that sort of performance against Manchester United, why not at Stamford Bridge? Somebody mentioned Chelsea's game at the weekend. It was appalling. Yes, they had plenty of the ball, but have lots of the ball. It's lots of balls in the back of the onion bag that you need, and I think we're capable of doing this one. Certainly, I've got no fears of it. I feel very positive about it, and like you, I would like to see we get back to Wembley and put on a show that we should have done the first time when we played Manchester United, and whoever else gets to Wembley just finds us too hot to handle. And that's how positive I feel about it. And I think we've got enough in the squad, even with the injuries, to turn Chelsea over. That team on Saturday, yes, it wasn't all pretty, but everybody did it, put a shift in, and it was a good team performance. Let's have another one of them and shift Chelsea out of this cup.
What's your prediction, George, for tomorrow night?
Oh, I'm positive about a 2-0 win.
2-0 win. Okay, good stuff. Ian, big game tomorrow. Big game. Eddie Howe, obviously excited about it. He plays everything down on there, apart from the opposition, always gives them a bit of a boost. But, he loved last season. He loved getting to Wembley. He said, apart from the final, for obvious reasons. But, yeah, I mean, this is a huge game in our season.
Well, we all loved it anyway. Like, okay, the game didn't go the way we wanted, but we, as a club, as a city, whether it was the tens of thousands of people who went down to London and behaved themselves really well, cleaned up after themselves at Trafalgar Square and had a proper good day and didn't behave like the opposition who turned up 10 minutes before and we're pretty horrible on the way out, actually, to children and women. It wasn't the right result. They got us at the right time, but I think we're doing it the hard way this season. If we beat these, I think we're, I don't want to say it, but I think we've done it the hard way. I just want to say a bit of a mention to Kenny Ranson, who just said we'll win, but it'll be close shave, which I thought was a brilliant comment. Because in your spiel, I was dying to shout out the best a man can get, but I didn't say in case you bollocked us. So I thought I wouldn't do. No, I think we're talking about the Chelsea game. It's a one-off game. None of us know what Eddie's going to do with regards to squad selection. I know he wants to win it, but he's also got to be sensible with fitness and injuries and such. Whatever team we put out, we can win it. We've proved that in the last two rounds. So I think we go into it full of confidence. And it would be nice to beat them, and it would be nice to get an away win. So, fingers crossed. If it was me, I'd put our strongest squad out, our strongest team out, not squad team, and I'd go and bend them over and do them. That'd be my That'd be my way of doing it, because I think it's this season, if we can win that cup, that would be an amazing season for us, and you know, see us in Europe as well, wouldn't it? So that's for me.
Okay, Barry, Carabao Cup. I've said it since the takeover. Win the Carabao Cup, get your first bit of silverware, and then then progress. You know what I mean? Like things will start to happen once you win your first trophy. Things do change.
I think that the signs are we're going to be well up for it. I think Eddie wants them to do well. I think his approach is going to be to stick out the best team we can against them. His whole philosophy would take one game at a time. I mean, for me, the stories I've been reading about Pochettino going absolutely ape with the Chelsea board about the rumours about them trying to sell Gallagher in January, and he's kicking off big time saying he doesn't want to sell him, he doesn't want him to go. So there's obviously some serious issues still behind the scenes at Chelsea that it hasn't calmed down massively from him going in. I know they have improved slightly, but they're still very much a team that sometimes are all over the place, which is all the better for us, because I think if we go there and if Howe gets it right, I think we're more than capable of taking them. I don't think they're a great team. They can play well on their day, but yeah, I think for me, I trust in Eddie to pick the best team for the night. I think we've got some players coming back just at the right time. I think we've still got issues with Wilson. I think we've still got issues with Isaac up front. Neither of them are 100% fit. But we're proving we've got other positions who can get us goals. We're starting to get back into that side of it again. I mean, hopefully Miggy can go on a run where he does get a few goals like he has done in the past, where he goes into one of his purple patches. But we've got Gordon who can score. We've got other players coming through who can score. So I'm up for it. I think it'll be close. I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I don't think it's going to be anywhere as easy as the Man U game away from home. But I'm putting us down for a 2-1 win, Steve. I think we're going to turn them over, and then we've got nobody to fear after that.
Well, knowing our luck, we'll get Everton in the semis, who are resurgent Everton, and we'll get Liverpool in the final. But that's for another day. Ian, what was your prediction?
Maybe score, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what was your prediction, Ian?
3-1.
3-1. Okay, he's going for a penman. So, Darren, give us your thoughts on this game tomorrow night.
I don't think it's going to be as straightforward. I think it's going to be a tricky game. Chelsea's got revenge. After beating them up, 3-0 or 4-1, sorry. They want revenge. I am concerned with it. I'm not having Wilson fully fit and Isak fully fit. Like I say, our squad's limited. And I think there'll be a hard game tomorrow. I think I'm going for a 1-0 win or perhaps win on penalties.
Penalties. Oh God!
I know. I just don't think it's going to be straightforward tomorrow. I don't know. I haven't got a good feeling out tomorrow.
Someone pissed on your cornflakes this morning, does?
No, mate. I've had nothing in your cornflakes. I just don't know what it is, mate. I can't get the. When you've got a good feeling, I just.
Playing Jordan Allen on the phone.
I can tell our way before is not very good at the moment. That's what you think. Our way before is not very good.
But you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. 100%.
That's why I'm a bit doubtful. My way before is not very good. So if I win, I'll be buzzing. But next Saturday's gonna be a hard game against Luton away. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, Kevin, Carabao Cup.
Let's go win it. Let's go down there with a positive mindset and have a little mid-season bounce from the win at the weekend. I think this one, what others have said, I don't know what, but a little bit of Barry said, and Darren, I didn't miss that. I had to go and talk to the work lad. Basically, I think Eddie Howe wants to win this one more than anything. And I think he's going to try and do everything he can to potentially win it. Starting lineup's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty much the same. So yeah, let's go down there and get at them. You never know what you're gonna get with Chelsea. I thought they were very poor when we played them, when we beat them 4-1. So again, just go play our game. Go get, in what Alan said in the previous bit, let's get an away win. Let's put an away performance in, and let's go and win this cup. Because I think that's really the main target now. From out, and obviously the FA Cup and the league's a big importance. Yes, that's your bread and butter, but these are your bread and butter. This is the domestic cups in the Premier League. So I think, well, why not go and not turn them over, but going to give them a good result, a good performance, a positive performance, and let's see. I'll go for another 3-0. We'll let them have one less than this time. So let's go for a 3-0 win.
3-0 win. That's confidence for you, Alan. Where are you going with this one?
Well, it depends. I'm in the boat with Darren, as you might imagine, with numbers. But I think it depends on who scores first, Steve, tomorrow night. I really do. If we score first, we've got a great chance of winning the game. I think it'll be 2-1 to us. I'm praying and hoping. But these are the big games, lads, that determine our season. These are the games I'm talking about that makes me negative, that will constantly get beat off. And these are the games we've got to win to be a big, big club, elite club. Tomorrow night will prove, if we get beat tomorrow night, our season could turn nasty. But if we win, it could turn really well, because we'll have a semi-final to look forward to in January. And then we've got Sunderland as well in the cup. And nobody wants to get beat off them either. So even I won't say we'll get beat off them. So, tomorrow night is crucial, and hopefully we'll play well, get a away performance. And like Darren said, Luton's going to be, I said months ago, a draw against Luton. But I'm praying we'll win against Luton because we need away wins to get our season started, lads. So I'm going for a 2-1 away win, and I'll be praying, fingers crossed, head behind the pillar, hoping and praying they'll win tomorrow.
Ian Brownlee says, I'll need some happy pills. He doesn't today. He's just predicted a win, right? He's just predicted a 2-1 win. So I'm definitely going to disagree with you, Ian. I think...
I should mention, Steve, sorry, before I forget, lads, I've bumped into Vince, doing Christmas shopping, wishes you all well for the show. Still says he watches the show and you look well.
Top lad, Vince. Miss you, man.
Listen to you, Vince.
Come back when
Listen
you're ready,
to you,
Vince. Come on. He was. I was away. I was away at the weekend. He used me ticket for the Fulham game, so he was at the match. Every time he goes, we'll win comprehensively. So I'll have to just give it a Vince.
Come back, replace Benny.
Give it a Vince. Give it a Vince. But yeah, no, listen. For me personally, I just, I've got a lot of time for Vince. He's a great lad, and he's had some issues, and he just needs to get himself sorted. But it's great to hear that, Alan. Thanks for letting us know that. Chippers, are you ready to go, mate? You're blowing your nose there.
Yeah, I'm all right. I just had a bit of a coughing fit again there, but listen, the pressure's on Chelsea tomorrow night because if they don't win tomorrow night, are they going to get Europe next season? The way they're playing, you can't say that for certain. Whereas I think we will get Europe, whether that's the Champions League or Europa League, whatever. I think we will get Europe. I can't see them get into it again because of how dysfunctional it is and all that down there. I just think they're in a bit of a mess, like Man United, really. And also, back in the day, you would think Stamford Bridge for us. We didn't really have that good of a record there, but as we did go to Old Trafford, all the pressure's on the home side, and I think we'll turn them over 2-1. I really do. I just think we'll be on it. We'll want it more, and we'll want to get to that semi-final and then kick on to the final after last season. We've got plenty of ammunition to get to that final after losing the final last season. So yeah, I'd say we're beating them, and I just don't think they're anything special because I don't think Pochettino knows his strongest 11 yet. So I anyhow trust the players that he plays. I don't think Pochettino trusts some of the players that he plays. I think he's got to play them by choice because of how they've been signed and everything like that. So yeah, whoever plays tomorrow night will put a shift in, that's for certain. So I will go for 2-1.
Some great news from Mozza. She says, Chipper, this may not help, but we're on week 9 of that cough.
I'm on week 3. I'm on week 3, so I've got 6 to go.
Mozzie needs to knock off them Marlboro Reds. That's what she needs to do.
But their cigarette brands are available. Benny, your views on this Chelsea game?
Chelsea, they're a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde side, aren't they?
Yeah.
Especially at home.
Yeah.
But I think we will have too much for them. I think Chelsea will get a man sent off as well. We'll boss the midfield. Conor Gallagher's overrated. I think I'll go for a 3-0. We're sending off for Chelsea. I'm very confident we'll win. Eddie Howe's 100th game in charge, so that's going to be a boost for the team, and he'll spur them on. Doesn't want to get beat on his 100th game. Everybody asking why you're not appearing on the podcast, Steve. I've told them all that you've got a git spot on your cheek. So that's why you're not on. Everybody was asking. You know what these actors are like.
What was your prediction?
3-0. Move on to semis. Get the Borough. Let Liverpool play every Everton in the derby and get kicked out. Positive 4. Positive spending.
Very positive. Very positive. I just want to, because I know some of our viewers don't do social media. And there's a few people commented about the Sunderland game and Lee Marshall. Lee Marshall is head of comms at Newcastle United, head of communication. And he did put a thread on social media today, which I will just take a quick 2 minutes to read so that you were all aware of this who watched the show. So he says, a thread on NUFC tickets for the FA Cup game at Sunderland. There is perhaps a little bit of misinformation whirling around. So here is how the ticket allocation is essentially broken down. The club was allocated 6,000 seats after successfully negotiating with the relevant authorities. From that, 6,720 are classed as hospitality in the Black Cats Bar. This was made clear in initial comms, and these places weren't visible in the general admission seats this morning when they went on sale. From there, a couple of hundred tickets will be used by the club for a few things. A portion for the loved ones of our players and staff. A portion for operational staff who are integral to making a 6,000 capacity even possible on the day. And a very small ballot for other club staff. Add to that necessary contingency due to police conditions on distribution of tickets. For example, if an adult and child arrive and find their seats are separate or occupied by fans not in their allocated seats, the club can avoid a safeguarding issue by still sitting them together. Just over 200 of the general access tickets will be seasonal hospitality clients and commercial partners. This is less than the ratio they are entitled to for Premier League matches due, helped by the Black Cats bar provision. And yes, they will all have to travel on club buses from St James's Park. The vast majority of tickets went on sale this morning. The ratio of general access sales is broadly in line with the club's other away matches. It's also understood that the ratio is a fair bit higher than the ratio usually offered by many other clubs to their fans in the top flight. I've seen a bit on YouTubers. In my experience, if they want to go to games, they have to put in the miles like everyone else. I invited a few into the press area at St James's Park for round 3 of the Carabao Cup in 2022 to have a look behind the scenes, but that's literally it from the media. On touting, the club is aware of tickets appearing on third-party websites. The club has tried to buy numerous tickets from these sites in recent months, and we haven't been successful in actually getting tickets. They just haven't had tickets at the end of the process. On this occasion, fans just won't get physical match tickets without being on moving club-organised bus. That's a condition imposed by Northumbria Police. The fans also won't get access until they step off one of those buses in a sterile area at the Stadium of Light. Final thing, to take 3,500 fans, more fans than the lower option, which was 2,500, it'll cost the club well in excess of £100,000 because of the conditions imposed by the police. The club is taking on that cost and huge operational task for the benefit of fans and so that the team is well supported. This is all being approached in as fair a manner as possible. I genuinely hope this helps, and sorry to those who got bored and switched off halfway through. Merry Christmas. Well done, Lee Marshall, for putting that out. I've seen a few comments saying you should have had that earlier, blah, 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 blah. Listen, fair play to Lee Marshall for bothering to put a thread out and clear a lot of contentious issues which are floating around social media. Because for me personally, a lot of those things did need clearing up. Lots of people were getting in touch with the supporters club, and lots of people were getting in touch with the trust. The trust in them were coming back and saying, well, we've put these questions forward. We're not getting any answers. Lee Marshall's come out and done I think what supporter services should have done. But who cares where it came from? It's out there now. A lot of those things have been put to bed. So for me,
Bravo.
let's move on, and well done, Lee Marshall. Okay, because obviously the fans forum, and we've got Christmas coming up, as I'm sure everybody's aware, and we've got a lot of games over Christmas. So I can't say when we're going to be back with the fans forum. It certainly won't be next Monday, because next Monday is Christmas Day. But I will liaise with the lads. We'll see what's suitable for the lads, and we'll see what we can do. We'll try and work it around the fixtures. So it will be a bit topsy-turvy for the next couple of weeks. There will be a few days you will have already seen where we've got some pre-recorded stuff going up. I'm going to plan a date tomorrow with George for his Ask George program. That'll definitely go on. But as I say, the fans forum won't be here next week. So because of that, to finish up the show, I just want to quickly go around and ask the guys the prediction for the Luton Town game, because that will be our next Premier League game, of course, at the weekend on Saturday. And then we'll also play Nottingham Forest at home on Boxing Day. We will, I'm sure, be back sometime in between that to do a quick show with the lads. So Luton Town away, George, and Nottingham Forest at home. Predictions, please.
Another 2-0 for me at Luton to Newcastle, and Nottingham Forest. I think it could be 4+0 at least.
2 big games, 2 big wins for George. Ian?
The other way around, actually. I think we'll absolutely smash Luton Town. I think we will do them 3 or 4, and I don't think they'll score. And the other one, 2-0.
Okay. Barry?
Scary. I'm almost the same as Ian. I was going to go 3-1 against Luton. I think we'll beat Forest 2-0.
All right. Darren?
Luton 2-1 and Forest 4-0.
Kevin?
I'm going to go Luton 2-0, and I think we'll beat Nottingham Forest 3-1 with a Chris Wood late consolation.
Get in, Chris Wood, lad.
One goal because he's a Geordie.
You said that for me. Alan?
I did,
I think it'll be 1-1 with Luton, and I think it'll be 3-1 to us against Nottingham Forest. And I hope I'm wrong with Luton, because it's one of them games I've seen Luton quite often at home, and they're very, very hard to break down. Very hard to break down. And the top teams have only won by 1 goal. So I hope I'm wrong with that. But 3-1 against Nottingham Forest.
Okay. Chippers?
3-0 to Newcastle in both games.
Okay. And Spenny?
4-0 Luton, 7-0 Nottingham Forest. Both win.
No way,
You
man.
heard it?
Spenny, be
I
positive
like
for
to
once.
before I go.
He's already dragged me bottle of booze I've sent him.
Right, can I say something before we go? I want to wish all the panel a Merry Christmas, because I won't say Merry Christmas. And all the people who's in the chat and watch the, thanks for all viewing.
Yeah.
And I also like dedicate this show to George, how he's coped this year, and how much this channel benefits from the knowledge and experience he's got.
Oh.
He's done a terrific job, and mind you, before
That's very kind. That's very kind.
And I also like to pay tribute to Steve for letting George be on these shows all this time and keeping his mind occupied as well.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. That's
Well,
very kind. That's very kind.
All we've ever done with nufc Matters is try to give a platform, and it was massively supportive of people during lockdown. It wasn't something I ever planned on doing as a full-time job, which more or less it has turned out to be. But this show wouldn't be anything without the people who are on it. I'm simply the person who gets people together. I've always been a decent organizer, and the people who come on this fans forum, it was an embryonic thing, and the lads who put themselves forward. Honestly, lads, it's a pleasure doing this show on a Monday night. I love hearing your opinions. You all have a great Christmas, and look forward to seeing you. Hopefully,
boys.
Merry Christmas to everybody.
Have a good one.
Everybody.
Take care, everybody. Good night.
Merry Christmas.
Night, everybody.
Merry Christmas.